Hello, my name is Joseph McDonald. This video is created for Restoration of Hope Kenya in the hopes that I can help promote a better future for young people in Kenya and quite honestly all over the world. There is so much potential that is being underutilized, underappreciated, and undervalued among young people, and I can't wait for a future where people are better situated to have their best life and to provide a better life for their family, friends, and community as well. I've written down some of the talking points that I want to reach to. I'm going to try to avoid reading it, but quite honestly, it was written fairly well in my opinion, and I will try to stick to it the best I can, using it as a guideline. So just a little bit about myself. I became a publicly accessible philosopher and consultant 3.5 years ago. And since then, I have two brands, Love Profit Consulting, Joe Company Consulting. Both are created with the foundation of a better world, a better place, a better way to do things, more cooperation, unconditional love, transparency, all those beautiful things. And so I've had a great privilege to help people with so many different problems in so many different places. And in this video, I hope that I can give you a little help if I can, because you're important. You're really important and you're loved. I love you. So moving forward, part of my mission to help people requires that I meet them, that I have an opportunity to be in their presence, in their proximity, to get to know them, to be there with their problems right on their level. And so I make friends all over the world that have the opportunity to work with me, recognize what I am, what I can be for them, and what they can be for themselves as well. I've had the great joy and privilege to have met a gentleman that I know as Francis Augustine. That's how it's situated on Facebook for me. He's mentioned that his last name is a little bit more cultured, and I'm thankful that he didn't ask me to try to pronounce that. So anyway, I met Francis, a gentleman and a scholar. Wonderful man from all that I can tell from our conversations. And just maybe a month ago, he comes to me and he asked for my help. He said, "We have a real problem in my country. We have a problem with young people joining gangs." And I've heard of this problem. I know of this problem. It's very scary when an 8-year-old is offered a gun and doesn't feel like there's any other way to proceed with the situation. I'm fully aware that kids are given ultimatums in certain countries, and it's a great concern, for my heart and for the hearts of many. So what I want to do is I want to be very transparent about my approach to trying to offer a solution to this problem, because I think it's important that we're always transparent the best we can be. Yes, unfortunately, Rick, I'm in the middle of a video. Is there anything I can help you with?
Just that.
Okay, thank you. We'll edit this out. Hopefully Francis can edit it out, or I'll edit it out, but it's not a big deal. Anyway, I've studied psychology, anthropology, family dynamics, history, and many other elements of the human condition in great detail. And what I've found throughout all of this is that children are unwilling to follow someone's demands of them. And what I mean when I say that is that if I tell my kid no, they're going to hear yes. When my parents told me no, I was like, that means yes, of course, because I can't listen to all your stuff while you're not living the actions of your words. And so this happens time and time again. So I'm never going to tell a kid, don't get an AK and start shooting up your neighbor. That's obvious. So I don't need to say it. But I think it's very important how we approach how to advise people about the decisions that they're going to make, especially very important ones like whether or not to join a gang or to stay in school, for example. And so let's just be transparent and let's look at how it might work out in your life. if that's the decision that you're approaching or have to make, or people in your community have to make, we have to be transparent about that. So what I did in my own life is I used the best role models that I could, the best ones I could find, and those were the people that I emulated. And what I found from those people is that they always loved experience, and they loved gaining awareness, and they loved demonstrating. And I think all those things are very important. So my biggest role model, and the role model that I really truly would love to give to you, is Jesus, or God. And then from there it goes, heroes and geniuses and people that made huge contributions to the improvement of the world around them. There's so many essential people that are acknowledged, underutilized in the public culture, but they don't have to be underutilized in your mind, your journey, and your heart. They're all extremely important. So let's look at our options. Let's say option 1 is join a gang. And option 2 is to not join a gang, in the simplest of terms. Obviously, there's more factors, but we can go into that in a second. The main thing I want to highlight in this version where someone decides that they want a gun, or they want to join a gang, or they accept that they were forced into a gang, is the idea that it's the only option. There's a lot of people that have been met with violence and conflict and discovered opportunities to not accept that or embrace it, but to move forward in a different way. Think about Gandhi. Have you heard of Gandhi in India? He was someone that was very resistant to violence without using violence. He's not perfect, neither am I, but he did teach a lot about how one can deal with conflict. And so if you're a young person watching this, you don't know who Gandhi is and what his story is, it might be worth checking out. Again, he was not perfect, but hopefully you can aspire to be even better than Gandhi, because that would be very incredible. And can't wait for people to be ready to step into those bigger roles more and more until the world's a much, much, much better place. So even if you decide you want to use violence and threats and intimidation, remember what you're trying to protect with your gun. A lot of these young people, they're forced in positions to protect themselves and to protect those within their gang. But unfortunately, you can see how those people in the gang treat other people and themselves. What you find is that you don't want to be in a gang. I mean, most people don't, anyway, because there's a lot of emotional trauma and violence, and more emotional trauma and more violence. And generally, that's not very appealing. Even if you can see a little bit of riches and brotherhood, stuff like that, was it worth it? For me, when I look at what my life would have been like if I joined a gang, it wouldn't have been worth it. But I feel that same way about cults and other affiliations as well. It's wonderful to maintain independence so you can be responsible for yourself and your actions without requiring those around you to make decisions on your behalf. So I further want to say, are you protecting your future? Are you protecting your younger self with a gun? Unfortunately, I don't believe so. I don't believe so at all. If you have a gun, I want you to protect your values, your beliefs, your family, your mother, culture, country. So what's there left to fight? Hatred, ignorance, arrogance, criminals, terrorists, traffickers. We don't need a gun to fight any of those things. We don't need a gun to fight anything, quite honestly. And that's a kind of advanced understanding, but still very important. So, we've talked a little bit about guns, how that might work out for some people in joining a gang. But But what if there's a better way? Think about what's on the top of a game. A leader. Somebody that knows different elements of how to play the game, how to play life, how to grow their community, how to grow family relations, to get stuff done. You want to be a leader. You definitely do. But you don't get that way by getting a gun at 8 years old very often. To truly be a leader means to stand for something better than you've found, better than you know, to aspire to an awareness, an opportunity that was beyond yourself. And I'm not saying that I can vouch for your schools. I'm not saying I can vouch for every single person that wanted to teach you or is willing to teach you. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, if you take self-responsibility to learn and grow, you will learn and grow. There's no gray area to that. Think about what your library can do. Think about what your internet can do. Think about what my friend Francis can do and Hope Restoration of Kenya. Think about what they can do. Think about what this video is doing. You could send me a PM. I'm a real person. You could ask me about your problems. I'm a very generous man. I'm a philanthropist. I help people. That's what I do. And I want to help you too. I don't have unlimited time. I'm only here as much as I can be. But you are loved and you are cared for. And there's people that want the best for you every day, all day. I'm one of those people. And so when the world looks really bad and all you got is the offer of an AK or a bullet, I hope God's with you. I hope Jesus is with you. And I hope you can find the gray lines, the gray path between those two to find your best path. Better yet, avoid it altogether if you can. Avoidance is a fair way to deal with conflict. A lot of my teachers and associates, they like to talk about avoidance. It's not my style personally. I like to deal with conflicts direct. You put a gun to my head, I say I'm more valuable to you alive than dead. That's what I say. And that's a bold move, but it's completely true. As young people, I wouldn't want you to be making those bold moves. What I'd want to see is that you don't have to make those tough decisions. You don't have to be in harm's way. But I know the world's not perfect right now. I know that sometimes you might end up right there at the end of a gun. So I just want to let you know that you're not alone. There's other options. And there's nothing as incredible as growing your awareness. That's what I decided when I was a kid. I said, if I can solve all these problems, if I can grow awareness, understanding of all these problems, maybe I can solve them. Maybe I can work towards solving them. Maybe I can help the world be a better place, easier. Maybe kids won't cry as much in the future. Maybe mothers won't cry as much in the future. Maybe everyone will cry less in the future. But that's only possible if we're here, making things better now. Now and in the future. I've been speaking for just under 15 minutes. And I just want to say for at least a third time, I love you. You're cared for. People want what's best for you. I promise. You can even contact me. I will show you what I know. I will teach you what I can. I will help you. Because you deserve all those things. You deserve the very best. And the very best never puts an AK in your hand. The very best doesn't ask you to shoot your brothers and sisters because they have a different belief or a different affiliation. There's nobody that I wouldn't help. There's nobody I wouldn't call a friend. I don't care how much darkness is in their heart, in their eye. Everyone has the opportunity to heal. So do you. You're loved. Sincerely. Joseph McDonald, philosopher, consultant, and many other things. Have a most exceptional day. Thank you for considering my words.